Hey everyone, this video is probably long overdue, but I figured it's about time I made an update as to everything that I've been doing, as I've got lots of other things to talk about, but I want to really keep the continuity going of the progress that I'm making. So, this video is more just to keep that going. But basically, the last time I uploaded a video would have been sometime late last year, and I was doing eavesdropping and I was working on an e-commerce brand, and really like going hard into trying to just like basically dive 100% into good habits and see what that did for me. Um, Long story short, nothing goes as planned, but I learned a lot, so I'm just going to quickly kind of recap that here. Basically, turns out that I think getting a job like that was a big mistake. I ended up going. It wasn't that the job was bad. It was fun in some ways, but it just definitely wasn't for me. But I went back to my old job, which is more like contract freelance kind of stuff. I'm not doing that anymore, but that turned out to be a better decision. Um, and then on top of that, I went I had that apartment actually, and that ended up getting so bad that I moved back here, which is with my parents for a little bit, because it was just downright unlivable. So we ended up breaking the lease and just leaving, coming back here for a little bit while we figured things out, which has turned out to be a really good thing. Um, but I do want to kind of more dive into what happened and what I learned from it. Um, Basically, with the job, I learned that when you try to play kind of both sides, you end up losing. Or he who chases two rabbits catches none, kind of thing. You know what I mean? Like, I ended up investing a lot of time for money that really didn't bring me any closer to my goals. Like, I wasn't making quite as much as I was making at my last job. So it was all kind of pointless. And on top of that, it's physically demanding work, so you're paying for it a lot in energy. And I was riding the train all the way to the other end of the city, so I didn't have that much time in between. And it's not that you can't do things outside of work; you definitely can. And but I also just wasn't, right. Like, I don't think I had a very clear plan from the get go, and this is something that I want to definitely get into further, but it's very easy to fall into this trap where it's like you see something as a solution when really more so you're just making an excuse, if that makes sense. Um, so even though it feels like you're doing the productive thing, really you're just finding another workaround, and that is a very deceiving trap that I've fallen into several times, and I think that that's a big part of the reason, why I'm at where I'm at today, is because I can think of a lot of times where I've compromised, tried to play the middle, tried to play it safe, um, try to basically make progress without really making progress. Like, in the past, I've been working on something, and rather than just doubling down and working on my project, I'll go and get a job to try and boost my income. So, one time I did it when I was younger so that I could move out into my apartment, not the apartment that I had, but a different one, a much nicer one. And I ended up realizing, wow, like, I'm just treading water all the time. Like, this is completely pointless and this is getting me nowhere. And, but it's deceiving because it feels like you're doing the right thing, and society is going to tell you that you're doing the right thing. Um, but that may not necessarily be true. So it's important to really carefully consider how you're planning things, is what I think I really cemented this time. Onward from that, I ended up, I went back to do that job for a little while, which unfortunately was another form of kicking the can down the road, albeit better, but still. But I ended up starting a business that went really well for me late in the year last year. I started like an agency business, and I'm not going to get too much into that because it's not super in keeping with the theme of the channel. I do plan to incorporate that in some way, but just not right now. But I made the first money with an online business that I have in a long time, and and it went really well. It was difficult, given how I had set myself up. The market right now in Canada for living is very, very expensive. So even just having that crappy apartment was setting me back like $1,600 a month, which is a lot, and nothing really worked. But I just locked in, and I was really grinding. Like I was eating with like one meal a day, uh, like sometimes zero, just literally eating blocks of cheese and like pickle juice or something, literally for like weeks on end, sometimes. And I got a good amount done, but I learned some important things from that too. And I definitely don't recommend that, because it was, while I did, like, it was motivating in the sense that I'm like, holy shit, my life sucks. I have to change this now. Um, it wasn't very good. Like I literally lived or died. Like if I didn't sell, I didn't eat, and I got enough clients in the door to tread water. There was a month where I missed rent, and my girlfriend had to cover me, so it wasn't all good. And that does kind of lead me into, I think some of the success stories that you hear are downright delusional, or a matter of perspective, and that's another thing I'd like to get into in the future, because I think that's one thing that's really misunderstood. And then, but anyway, we ended up breaking that lease, coming home, and what's interesting is I crashed. It was around Christmas time, and I just totally crashed. Like I burned out. As soon as I came back here, I worked for like a week, and then I just burned out. Well, more than that, like 2-3 weeks, something like that. But I just like deteriorated, and then I totally crashed. And I think it was because I went from a very like demanding, high pressure situation into a basically zero pressure situation. Um, and It was interesting to note how that affected me. And just to keep things kind of brief, one thing that I noticed almost immediately is that once I took away the need for survival, like literally survival, and I had some money in the bank account, so things were okay, I just totally went flat. And I realized that, like, outside of that, I think I really lost touch with the reason that I'm doing things and what I actually want. So for me, the last little while has been a lot about kind of what I'd call self-actualization, and that is like trying to find meaning in your life and stuff like that. And I think that even when it comes to good habits and everything, it's like, okay, like, you're gonna meditate, you want to clear your mind for what? Like, to sit on the couch? You want to think better when you're sitting on the couch? Or like, you're gonna get in shape. Like, why? You know what I mean? Like, you're gonna make money. Okay, what are you gonna spend it on? What are you gonna do with it? What do you want to do with it? And I realized that I hadn't really figured any of that out. So it's been a bit of a process getting back in touch with that. But now things are going pretty good, I'd say. But it's really interesting, and I kind of wanted to share that with some of you guys. And another thing that I really wanted to touch on, and this is really central to why I want to do this channel too, is that, as you may know, if you've seen any of my other videos, is that I'm a bit older. I mean, that sounds crazy. I'm not old, but like, I'm 27, and I know that a lot of people give up around this time, sooner actually, like probably around 25 is when I notice a lot of people kind of change their mentality. And I think that there's a lot of pressure from society to kind of have things figured out by a certain point in your life. And I think that that's a problem. I think that that's something that I really dislike about a lot of business content or like self-improvement content that I see, is it's really heavily geared towards younger people. And like, let's not delude ourselves. Like, obviously, I guess the younger the better. The sooner you figure it out, the better it is going to be for you. But at the same time, in some ways, I do feel that that's unrealistic. And it really depends on who you are and what your circumstances are. But like, different people are going to take a different amount of time to figure something out. But really, like, what I want to get across is that it's never too late, and it's not like you should never give up. If something is important to you and you've determined that that's what you want, then you should do it. However you can, however long it takes. Like, if anything's going to win, it's going to be persistence. So, and, I don't know, I just think that that is lost on some things, but realistically, like, if you're trying to become like a wealthy person, for most people that doesn't happen when you're young, and there's a lot of, you're gonna make mistakes, things are gonna set you back. But I remember when I was around that age, I started really getting hopeless and feeling like it was too late. And to be honest, it's something that I even struggle with today. But then you'll look back when you're 32 and you'll think, geez, I really wish I did that when I was 27. Who cares, right? Just keep going. Do it. Do what you're doing. Get better at it. Do it whatever way you can. And for me, I'm lucky enough to have this place to go to where I can like save some money for a bit. But that's not the case for everyone. And then you're gonna have to juggle, your survival, in whichever way you can, and you're gonna have to come up with a unique plan, and that's really it. Like, this whole thing about being successful is going to be completely unique to every single person. You're going to have advantages that other people don't, and other people are going to have advantages that you don't. It's going to take you a different amount of time than it's going to take the next guy or the guy before you. It really doesn't matter. Once you've locked in on what you want, just keep going. And for me, I'd rather die having failed my whole life, but being genuine and like living close to my heart with what I want to do. I'd rather be a total idiot than be, moderately successful or even successful, but a coward who hates myself. So that's kind of the way that I think about it. And at the end of the day, you do what you got to do. But if you're watching this and you're like me, don't give up ever. Do what you got to do, but don't give up. So yeah, anyway, I hope that was a good enough recap of how things have gone. I'm going to kind of go into detail and use some of these like stories and events as like an analog to things that I'm trying to communicate, because really this is all about me sharing what I've learned through these experiences. And I want to talk more about my business as well, and what finally got me there, because I went years without making, I made some money online, I went years without making anything, and then all of a sudden came right back to it. So, and it was kind of counterintuitive. So I do want to get into that, but if you guys have any ideas, just let me know and I'll try to talk on that too. But yeah, I'll see you in the next one.